Hey everybody, this is Ryan Swanson, and I have the privilege of doing a little Q&A, a little intro to a relatively young franchisee who goes by Chelsea Claire, and she's out in Texas. And this is going to be a little intro into her journey from, I guess, a CSR to franchisee out in Texas, and how she is using the platform Linkasoarus to help her do some pretty cool things from a marketing and customer retention standpoint. Chelsea, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Ryan. How are you?
I'm doing great. I wish I could be there, but in lieu of that, I think this is going to be fun. So,
Heck yeah.
so real quick for the folks that are in attendance, because it sounds like the DWLA has got folks from all stages of their career with Domino's. Some are maybe managers, maybe even CSRs or drivers that might be in the room today. And I think it'd be cool if you can kind of share a sort of a Cliff Notes version of your I guess your history with Domino's and how it came to you being a franchisee.
Absolutely. I started with the brand in 2005. It was my first job. I started the day after I turned 16, as soon as I could work, and started with Pam and Susan with Slam Pizza in San Diego, just swinging pizzas. And from there, I worked a couple other jobs in between, but I always missed making pizza. I miss the rush. I miss being on my feet. Desk job is not for me. I moved to Texas and I worked for a new franchisee, started at the ground up again, started as a CSR at 27 years old. Um, Took a little bit of an ego hit, but I knew what the end goal was, and that was to be here. So I worked CSR, assistant manager, GM, worked as a GM for another 5 years, saved up every single penny. Budgeting, super important. Make sure you save your money and you have a good budget plan. And I was able to open up my own store. I built it, I didn't buy. And we did that last year, April of 2023. And it's been an awesome journey.
That is pretty inspiring. I don't meet a lot of women that do that, and so this is kind of cool for the folks in attendance to see a peer within the Domino's business, especially a woman that. And I don't think I've ever heard of a new franchisee building their first store. Usually they're buying a store. And so that's a lot, especially somebody that's built a lot of Domino stores. I know that is not easy.
It's not. It's like making a baby. I'm telling you, it takes 9 months of hard work, but man, you're proud of it at the end.
That's a good analogy. I might use that, except I can't from personal experience. We were talking, and as a single store franchisee, can you share how, I guess, from a marketing customer interaction, at some point you became aware of the Linkasourus platform? If you don't mind sharing kind of how you came, I guess, aware of it, and how long you've been using the platform, and then we can kind of get into like the features that you like the best.
Yeah, definitely. I've been following you, Ryan, since I was a GM, and you always had really cool ideas, out of this world techniques. And once you came up with Linkasaurus, I was still a GM, but I knew that as soon as I was in the game, I was signing up as a franchisee. I live in a small town. We opened in a small town, so every single customer matters. We can't lose a single customer. And the best thing about Linkasaurus for me is our Google reviews. Linkasaurus lets me know when we have a new review, whether it's good or bad, before Google sends me an email. Sometimes it's anywhere from 30 minutes to a couple hours before Google will send me an email, and I've already replied on Linkasaurus. There is a feature where you can use AI and it will auto reply. I personally like to use my own. I will throw in song lyrics and mix it up with pizza, um, letting them know if it's a not good review, like, hey, we're locally owned, we're locally operated, we care about you. And the feature will transform that into something that looks good, good grammar. And every single review that I have is replied to within less than an hour. And those people feel cared about. They know that we're here for our community, and that's the most important thing.
That's awesome. I think, you know, whether you're a single store franchisee or a 100+ store, one thing that, you know, some folks have told me over the years is that, well, the only time you get, it's kind of like customer complaint, you know, you don't get a lot of customer compliments, and you get these, you know, quote unquote customer complaints, but and maybe you'll agree, or I'm not sure, but I look at it like this. If somebody walked into your store, looked you dead in the eye after you had on the order and said, "Oh, thanks. This is awesome." And you just turn around and walk back to start making pizzas.
Yeah.
That's just as bad as if somebody gives you a complaint and you do the same thing. Because not everybody, you know, if somebody gives a good review online to a business and you don't acknowledge that, I would think they're less likely to feel like appreciated. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And that's why it's really awesome is we're able to respond to those immediately. When it's a customer that I know had a good interaction with the store, sometimes I'll even just put in the prompt, thank this customer, offer them a free item on their next order. And now those people who are looking at our Google page says, oh my gosh, these people care. I can leave a good review, potentially get a free item on my next order. And that's huge. We have over 4,000 people view our Google page a month, and every single person is looking at those reviews. You know, they're looking at those reviews.
Yeah.
So they see that everything is replied to, whether it's good or it's bad, and they'll be taken care of.
So how is it working with your crew when you get a review that, since Linkasoarus is connected to the digital communication board, and displays those reviews in real time, like how do you use that interacting with your team? Like how does that work in your store?
They're able to see it. Of course, we use the Label King Turbo message board, so it does cycle through what we're doing this week, lessons for the team members, pictures. We're really active in our community, but we keep it on that Label King Linkasoarus board so they can see exactly how many reviews we have, who's left a good review, who's left a bad review. And they don't like seeing that. They don't like seeing a bad review on there. They don't even like seeing a 3-star on there. They'll sit there and and it really makes them think about our interactions and how we're taking care of our customer. And I think my favorite column is the one where they change their review, because they can. If you give them a good enough experience, they leave you a 1 or a 2-star, they'll go back and leave you a 4-star. And that's the part that I like the most.
That's awesome. I'm glad you mentioned that. For those for those watching, what Linkasoarus will do is, for example, on the communication board, there, like you mentioned, there's a column. If somebody changes, for example, their review from, let's just say, a 1-star, you know, they forgot a Dippin' Cup and they gave you a 1-star for whatever reason, and then you take care of it, like you mentioned. I just reference that because I hate those reviews.
Yeah.
And then they change it to a 5. It will show an edited review. And if you want, you can have an email notification that lets you know, hey, this person's been has edited it from a 1 to a 5. It will increase your average star rating on Google. It'll display on that com board you're referencing, and also Linkasoarus will, if you have the feature turned on, will automatically delete your old review that was basically, in this example, let's say on a sorry, I'm sorry, you got a 1-star, I want to make it right. It will delete that and replace it with an appropriate message to a 5-star. So if somebody goes and reads your 5-star review and it says, oh, these guys are awesome, your reply isn't, hey, I'm terribly sorry, please give us a call, we want to fix this. It will say, oh, thank you, and it does it automatically. And that's just a quick setting, a matter of turning that on or off. What are some other features you use in your local marketing or customer retention, or do you use the QR codes at all, or what are some things that you also use it for?
Marketing. I love the marketing feature. If you go to the brand's calendar, you can see what everybody else is using. And I have no shame in my game. If I see somebody's running a really awesome ad, I don't mind just copying and pasting that onto my own calendar. Linkasourus has a feature too where you can use like the best time to post when it thinks you're going to get the most engagement. So I use that feature every time. Once again, write a prompt. AI pulls everything together, makes a really awesome ad, uses relevant hashtags, and I use the right time to post it. And then, of course, as soon as it's posted, I can go in and boost that post. I can pay for it to get more views, everything on Facebook. So I love using it. It gets me more than what just the brand posts, and it's more targeted towards my audience in my town.
And I'm glad you mentioned the targeting. So I always tell folks that the Domino's mission statement, last time I checked, ends in every neighborhood, talking about being number one. What would you say to somebody that is not doing, because when you're talking about posting, we're talking about social media. What would you say to somebody that's in the audience as far as how valuable you think running your own location or store specific Facebook account is?
There is so much value in that. Everybody is on their phones. You're going to see an ad on your phone before you see an ad on a commercial anymore, because who's watching commercials? Nobody. Who's listening to the radio? Nobody. Everybody is on Facebook, on Snapchat, on Instagram. And with Facebook and Instagram, it's meta. So anything that you post to Facebook, you can boost and you can target that on Instagram as well. And like I said before, every single customer for me counts. And I really think that should be the driving factor for every business, every Domino's store, whether you're doing $50,000 a week or $25,000 a week. Every customer should count, because that $40,000 a week could turn into $41,000 if you just put the effort into your community and find those people that aren't ordering from you yet.
I think you've been using Linkasourus for what, about a year now?
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you use Linkasourus? Is it pretty much just part of your every like weekday, like how often are you logging in and engaging and doing things?
I would say at least weekly. And of course, every single time I get a review, I'm able to log in and respond right away. It's user friendly as well. So like I told you earlier, I like to compare Linkasourus in marketing to the DJ of Dough. It makes your life easier. It takes the pressure off your main person who's doing marketing or responding to reviews or taking care of those customers. It's a little bit less weight off your shoulders. You could get it done faster and easier and with more consistent quality.
No, I love it. I love it. So I guess one last thing I'd like to cover is talking to Kelly and the DWLA. It sounds like one of the key things of the DWLA is that the women within Domino's, and I'm going to use my term, like are in the loop. They're in the know with what their peers are doing throughout the country. So there's no missed opportunity as far as, who to talk to, what needs to be done as far as advancement or just a different thing. So they're in the know. So they at least are educated on being able to make a decision for themselves if they want to go to the next level within the system. Using that same premise, what's your perception of the best practice sharing features that are in Linkasourus, and how is that helping you kind of stay in the know and be a better, marketer or be in the loop, I guess?
Oh, well, you get to join the Facebook group. That's a fun part. And you get to see everything that Mr. Ryan Swanson here is doing, from especially this month during October. He's been marketing, you have been marketing Halloween hardcore. And you have that opportunity to pull from people who know what they're doing and have done this before. And you can log into Linkasourus. You can see that, hey, somebody has shot out this ad to their 60 stores. What ad is this? You could open it. You could look at it. Okay, 20% off, late night deal, cool little bats and spooky stuff in the background for Halloween. I want to use this for my store too. And all you got to do is just click a few buttons and now you're running that same ad. So you're seeing what's working for other people and you can make it work for yourself, and you could adjust it how you need it to work for your specific market.
That was a big thing. I know we talked earlier and I literally referenced another franchisee who's out in California. And I was in a franchise meeting, and our franchise business consultant was literally telling us some stuff of what another franchisee had done 3 or 4, 6 months ago that I missed out on. And so that's like one of the core features of Linkasaurus, is that you're almost like you're virtually in the loop with what your peers are doing. And if you're a wallflower and you're kind of shy and you don't know either how to reach out or who to talk to, you can almost, like you were kind of saying, you can kind of like spy, if you will. You're like, you can see everything everybody's
Yeah.
doing. You don't need to talk to them. You see their analytics and you're like, well, if it's working for him or her, it should statistically now, based on the analytics, get you something a little bit, get you a similar result, hopefully.
Right, right. And you're not shy about releasing information in the group. You are showing your PCYA, you're showing the ROI on every ad that you're running, so you can see that it's working for somebody. And if there's anybody who's ever wondering if it's something they can do, never underestimate the amount of knowledge that you could pull from somebody who's been in the business, that is doing something in the field that you want to do. You want better marketing? Go to somebody who's been doing it for a long time and see where they're successful and piggyback off of it. There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, one thing I wanted to share this while we're talking. So I was trying to help the DWLA in a massive way, and now that we're talking here, I was sharing with Kelly and the team and you that going forward, effective today in this meeting, so folks are watching this, that anybody that signs up as a new Linkasaurus user, or if you're in the meeting and you know somebody, and we'll probably put a QR code or something on the screen here to make it easy, that 20% of anything they spend with Linkasaurus for life, whether monthly, annually, or whatever, will come back in the way of a donation back to the DWLA to help organization grow, and ultimately help the women within Domino's for many years to come in a bigger and better way. More to come on that, but I appreciate the time and the transparency, Chesley. Hopefully there's some inspiration occurring in the room. So if you're in the room and you see Chesley during break, go over and introduce yourself, and maybe she can elaborate more on her story, which is awesome. And again, I appreciate the time and hope we can help. Linkasaurus can help the DWLA in a massive way. And yeah, we'll talk to you soon.